Hello YouTube, my name is Damien and this is my channel Enneagram Life, and today I want to talk to you about what it was like working under a type 8. So I was in the role of a high school English teaching aide, and he was the native Japanese teacher in Japan. So I was working for in the classroom sense, I was subordinate to him in that he was in charge of all the planning of the class and conducting the lessons, and my job was to be the assistant. However, it wasn't like I actually worked for him as in he could fire me. We worked for the government and he had no role in hiring me and no ability to fire me. So, but yet in the classroom, that was my position as the assistant. So what was this like, working for a type 8? And straight off the bat, it was really bad, really terrible. Because I didn't do anything mostly, that's what it begun with. Doing absolutely nothing in this class, just standing in the back. And so he did it all himself. So here we see the classic control freak part of the type 8. And the type 8s are, one of their characteristics, main characteristics, or well-known characteristics, is that they are control freaks. Now, I don't want to give the impression that maybe this guy was hard-working and that's why he was doing it all. Because, well, his lessons were just straight out of the textbook. And he started with the first section of the textbook, and after the first section he did the second part. And then after the second part, guess what? He did the third part. And he just worked through the textbook one by one, did every single activity in order, without any change, and it required no planning at all. But he honestly believed that he could do this. You could see that he honestly believed that he had this way of doing it, that no one else could do it as well. And you could just see this in him. You could just, this was emanating, that he really believed that the way he was doing it was something that others just couldn't convey, weren't capable of. And it wasn't about me either, because I saw him in this role with other assistants who I watched, and pretty much everyone, actually everyone he worked with, it was the exact same thing. He just went up there and did the whole thing himself. And just went through the most mundane lesson possible. Now, he was a low functioning type 8. I should clear that up. This guy, and low functioning, well, I picked that up in my, amongst the various Enneagram resources. I read quite a lot of different things, watched quite a lot of different videos. Some people use that term and some don't. Basically, it's taken into this idea that there is different types of personalities, but within a personality, with, say, a group of 8s, some of these 8s are going to be high functioning individuals. Maybe they have a high emotional intelligence. Maybe they have worked on their social interaction skills. Maybe they're just more experienced. And then there's others that aren't. Maybe, things like they have a lower IQ, or maybe it's not that they have a lower IQ, they just have less experience. But for whatever reason, we have low functioning, average functioning, and high functioning individuals within personality types. So this guy, yeah, he was also, beyond just the control freak, he was prone to outbursts of anger where he would yell at students and be furious. And it was these massive tirades of just going, just losing it, just going ape shit. and he'd do it in the classroom and to students, to high school students, and he would do it to adults in the teacher's room. He would just be fuming at different points. And it was just him, yeah, going nuts. And I know the term apeshit sounds very informal, very colloquial term, but I honestly think that some of these colloquial terms do express behavior better. Like, that really is a very good way to describe his outbursts. Yeah, it honestly is. It just is. I'm sure we could think of another formal sort of way of expressing that. He would just lose it and just be extremely angry. But I don't think it would take longer to say than apeshit does. So, sorry. Sorry if that is a little bit informal for some. And I don't want to, like, yeah, so this was him and the way he behaved, and definitely unfortunate behavior. And there was quite a few complaints made about this teacher. But I don't want to put out a whole bunch of bad media about like type 8s, because actually I honestly believe type 8s get a bad rep. Because if you say have a group of people and they're discussing the Enneagram, often I've seen people ask, what is your least liked Enneagram type? And I've asked one person, the next, and the next, and I've heard a lot of these people say type 8, and more so than average. And I really feel that that's sort of an inappropriate. It's a bad representation. It's not the true representation of what type 8s are generally, and definitely not what they can be. Because I think that there's all sorts of people out there that we might dislike, but they're not memorable, or we might not even notice them. For example, a type 5, for example. Some of type 5s can be very shy, low-functioning type 5s, reticent, very uninvolved, but type 8s are rarely like this. And for example, I was at a party recently, which a type 8 was hosting. And she, in this role, was very likable and very good at hosting this party, because she was very forward, which is a type 8 characteristic, and she got involved and she had opinions and she started conversations and she made a real effort to be involved with everyone in the party and to get everyone to come together and to bring up conversation topics. And I've been in situations like that where, for example, there's been other types, maybe a 1 or a 5 or a 4 who, or any other type, but they were maybe low functioning in their type, and they were not involved and they were shy, and it's a very selfish sort of behavior if you're in a social setting. But I could see how people like that, even though that they didn't contribute, it's not memorable. And even though they were very selfish, it's also not memorable. Yet, if someone does kind of lose it in a very obvious and dramatic way, or say something, be very forward and confrontational, we remember this. So we might then develop this bias against type 8s, which isn't it's not really fair. And obviously there are type 8s that are very much deserving of your dislike, as there is all types. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that was informative. And if you liked this video, please subscribe.